Hey, yo, it's your boy KLUEWORLD, and I want to welcome you to Levels to This podcast. It's a season 1, episode 5, and let me tell y'all, I got an amazing special guest. This guy was hard to track down. He was hard to get, but this is my brother, this is my friend, Justin Deas. Just to let you know, this man is a unicorn. That's what I call him, because this man can play anything and everything. When I mean it, I mean from production, I mean from gospel to secular. And also, this is one of the most inspirational keyboard players I've ever had the opportunity to play with. And once again, I welcome y'all to Levels to This podcast. I know y'all could be doing anything else in the world right now, but the fact that you are listening in and you are giving me a little bit of time out of your life, I greatly appreciate it. And we're gonna give you a great show today. So I just want to welcome my brother, this man, Justin Deas. And what's going on, bro?
My God, what's good, my brother?
Hey, man, I can't call it, bro. I'm just glad to have you in the house, bro. They don't know the trials and tribulations we went in to get you here, dog.
Listen, by God, we here. You know what I mean?
Indeed, bro.
Man.
And just to give y'all a little background between how I met Justin. So, dang, I met Justin, I want to say, from the influences and the opportunity of this cultivated evening event called First Fridays. And Justin had got a chance to play keys. I heard from my homies like, yo, this man is crazy. I'm like, okay. But what's so crazy about it is I already knew about Justin because I'm a huge YouTube head. And I kept seeing him with the greats, some major greats, and I'd be like, who is this dude killing? Just to find out that this man would eventually become my brother, my friend, a person that I can depend on, and one of the biggest inspirations in music to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, you are incredible. Like, I would never put nobody up against you, but I definitely would call you on some people. You already know what it is.
My God, appreciate it, man. Thank you, sir. Saying to you,
And
I'm sure the people already know. We don't even got to talk about that.
bro, I mean, that's what it is, man. But with that being said, tell the people a little bit about you, man, your background, and how everything started and kicked off for you.
Cool. All right. So, like you said, my name is Justin Deas. I am, man, my mind just went blank. I'm 30 years old. I almost forgot how old I was.
That happened to me
I
too.
started thinking, I'm like, how old am I? 30. Yep, I'm 30 years old. I am from the East Coast, Charleston, South Carolina, born and raised. Um, I actually didn't start playing until I was like 15. Yeah, I started about 15 years old. My first opportunity. So I started when I was like 15, and back home there's this group, a gospel group that I was playing with, Mike Brown and Focus. Shout out to Mike Brown, one of my big brothers, gave me one of my first opportunities, and I was working with him, and then I started like traveling. They would do like shows. We would do shows throughout the U.S. Then I got my first international trip. So like every winter we would go over to Italy, and we would be in Italy for like almost a month. So we'd be there for like Christmas, New Year's, all that
Wow.
shows at like different venues, arenas over there. And I did that probably for about maybe like 5 years straight, something like that.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, so that was like my first opportunity. But then I moved to Charlotte. And I was in Charlotte for about a good 6 years. And backtrack. Before I moved, I actually started. So the first artist that I worked with was a pop group, Far East Movement.
Right.
One of my older bros, he had went to school out here in LA, and he actually got the call for the gig, but he's like a guitar player or whatever, so they needed keys, they needed everything. So he called me, he was like, yo, got this pop group, like they're huge, they're traveling everywhere. If you want it, I need you. So I was like, oh man, like, so I'm getting prepared for like audition and stuff, all that. Never had to audition, nothing. It was just the relationship, him
Right.
knowing my capability and everything. So I'll probably say I went through about 2 passports with them, traveling
Wow.
literally about 3-4 different countries every week because they were just doing shows, festivals, everything, especially over in like Europe, Asia. They were like huge. So
Right.
I did that. I worked with them. They don't do shows anymore. We still work together with like production and stuff, but I was
Hmm.
probably traveled with them for about at least a good 4 or 5 years,
Wow.
consistently. But within that time, I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, and that's where I got connected with the John P Kee crew, and I was on that probably for about a good 3-4 years as well. That's
Right.
now my playing mostly. I probably learned mostly from home, Charleston, South Carolina, where I'm from. We got like a lot of dope players and stuff down there,
Yeah.
so that's where I learned. But everything else, as far as like programming, arranging everything, it changed my life once I moved to Charlotte. I got connected. I mean, I had known CJ Thompson for a while, so between being around him and one of my biggest influences, Evan Bryce, he's one of the greatest. So being with
Yeah,
that
Evan.
crew, with him and Sean, everything, that's where I learned a lot of that. Still to this day, we all close and cool and all that. So that's how it all pretty much started for me.
Man, that's crazy, bro. 15? That's dang, bro. That's half the lifetime right there.
No, literally.
You play like you've been playing since you was 4. I am not gonna lie to you, dog. Seriously, I don't know if y'all have heard this guy play, but this man, I mean, you play parts, you hear parts, you know how to elevate what's already there without taking it too much out of of its natural born nature and what we create. And shoot, I get excited anytime I can even call you and be like, yo, Just, I need you for a gig. Man. And I always get excited because just playing with you pushes me, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because um you've rocked I've to see your journey, man. And like I said, to know, let's if we start with just John P. Kee alone, bro, like that's not an easy gig. And
Listen,
gospel music is not an easy gig, period. It's not a gig, but it's just not
let me,
easy to play it.
let me tell you how it happened to me. Let me tell you, it's crazy. I
Right.
just had somebody ask me the other day, like, how literally, I think it was yesterday when my brother asked me, like, how do you learn so much music in so little time? Because we were
Right.
talking about it. And I was very honest. I started off personally, I've been a procrastinator my whole life, even in
Okay.
school. So that probably helped a lot. Like, no, I don't know. For me, I just work. It's easier for me to like procrastinate and work closer to because in my mind, first of all, I never want to fail.
Right.
So that helps me. I feel like if I start longer and take longer, it's easier for me to get distracted by things and I
Yep.
won't take it as serious versus if I got something huge coming up in 3 days, I know it got to be done. I'm going to be on it because I know I got to know it and it's going to be fresh in my head.
Correct.
So with the John P. Kee joint, I had been like just playing around at the church. Like I've been around at the church for like a year, and we was always around like working and stuff. And then it was I forgot who it was at the time. Somebody couldn't do it, so Chris hit me and was like, "Yo, Pops got a show." It was like in 2 days. He was like, "Got a show," and I think our first show was like in Chicago. He was like, "Got a show in Chicago. He want to know if you can do it." So I was like, oh, okay. I mean, yeah, though I wasn't. Now inside I was jumping. I'm like, dang, John King, one of the greatest. I'm like, okay, cool.
The
Like
greatest.
yeah, it's gonna be you and Evan or whatever, rest crew. I'm like, all right, cool. My very first show, Evan missed the flight. I can't make this up. Oh God, bro, it was just me. My very first John King show, it was
Wow.
literally just me talking about nervous and scared. Like, so I'm talking to Morgan. I'm like, every single thing you got in the stems, put in there. He was like, well, the thing is, everybody plays parts, so we don't have that much stems. So
Wow.
I'm like, oh God. But it was crazy. Like, luckily, like I said, I had for them 2 days that he gave me, I was studying everything. Like, and when I learned shows parts, I try to learn everybody parts,
Yep.
everybody because of situations like that, you'll never know what could happen or
Right.
what the situation could be. So I was learning mains, I was learning aux, organ, everything. So I literally sat there at the organ with the main and aux, everything around me. I was like, Lord, I'm just praying the whole time, but it was cool.
That's
Of
so
course, there
fire.
was a few mess ups because if you know the show, you know how that can be. My very first one, but I say it went very well for that first one.
I was able to last a few years after that.
Right. They kept me around for a few years, so I guess I did all right.
Bro, you did a heck of a job because on the outside looking in, I don't know much about John P. Kee's operation, but I know he is very um intentional on the people that he allows to play with him, and he holds you guys at a very high standard. And so the fact that you were able to do that, it shows that God trusted you with a lot, even though you didn't know that that's what it was going to be. And also, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes if it's too easy for us in the beginning, we don't mature the right way. Some of us feel like, oh, it's gonna always be like this. Then as
Right.
soon as something shake everything up and shift everything up, now we over here looking, we grabbing our pearls and everything like that, like, oh my God. And it's like, nah, bro, like it was always gonna be this difficult. It just wasn't like that in the beginning. That's why
Right.
um I'm always grateful for tough entries because it
Right.
sets the bar of where it is I either have to be or where I have to grow to be better from.
Okay.
And I mean, hey bro, it's put you in a lot of places, man. And with that, what all do you do? Because we've talked about you being a keyboard player, but what all do you do in this day and time in regards to like music?
So first and foremost, I always say I'm gonna stop playing, but I've been rethinking that the past year. I don't think I'll ever stop like playing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe doing tours because that can be draining, as you know, at some point. But I can still do the spot days here and there, local stuff.
Right.
Just because that's what we love to do. That's my passion. That's where it all started. That's the gift that God gave. Never take
Yep.
that for granted. So I still do that, but now I'm mostly focused on like production and writing. I'm in the studio a lot, and I'm digging heavy now into like film scoring. So I've been in a lot of sessions with that, like. I've done some stuff, but I always, before I really get involved, I like to make sure I know what I'm doing, especially in heavy situations like that. So I
Right.
have a few homies, a few friends who like I'll literally go and I'll just sit in sessions and take up the knowledge as much as I can, just watch and get
Absolutely. Yep.
everything I can before I'd be like, okay, here I am. You know what I mean? Because don't want to go down, but that's my main focus right now.
That's dope, bro. Because for where we are in our career, a lot of it isn't necessarily sitting down in the classroom and gaining education. It's really being an observer, sitting back and letting people who do it show you how they do it. And then you
Right,
just kind of like sit there and find out the familiar moments and places that you already have in your repertoire and how you can do it yourself.
right,
Um, because like I don't think a lot of people even take into account like a lot of what y'all paid for, but we always say this all the time. That 30 minutes you paid for, that wasn't just like, some school, some college we went to. That was for you, for anybody that works with you, that was 15 years
right.
that they have on stage for 15 minutes to an hour and a half.
Hmm.
That don't even get me on that because that's a whole nother
That's a whole
conversation.
nother
That's why the
conversation
price is
right
what it
there.
is.
Yep.
But if you can, who are the few who and besides John, what are some of the accounts that you've worked with in the past? Far East Movement. What are some accounts that the listeners who are listening may have seen you on, may have not even known that you were working on, and all that type of stuff that you can let us know that you've been working on or
Dope,
worked
dope.
with?
Yeah. Let's see. After Far East, I did Neo. We've done Snow Allegra, um, Melanie Fiona, the Kanye West Sunday Service. Right now, I'm currently with Charlie Puth. Um, List goes on, man. I could keep. I hate, you know how it goes. Keep,
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, no,
yeah,
that's why I said whatever ones you could. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
they
yeah,
ain't
yeah,
it
yeah,
ain't.
yeah, yeah.
It ain't
I
everybody's
mean, there's
business.
more, but you know.
It's conflicts.
Yeah.
Y'all niggas don't deserve it.
Yes,
Pay me
sir.
my money.
Right.
But but no, bro, it's so dope. And with that, I guess I want to ask you, since starting from 15, like, what were some of your influences that even drew you to keys and like you could say have been influential in your sound in what we hear from you today?
Okay. So what started? I don't think I've ever told this story. So the way I started playing, I was always like into sports.
Okay.
So I played basketball. Go check out my highlights. I'll post the link in the comments below. But
Let's
I
go.
literally was like, just knew I was going to the NBA. I know it sounds cliche, but like I was in like 9th grade on the varsity team, like, and
Killing.
then I actually when I was around like 14, 15 or so, I had my mom and my siblings, we had actually moved, and I lived in Virginia Beach for like
All right.
a year. And like it was nothing bad, but it was like one of those situations where like I was such a family person, so close to family, always, anytime.
Mm-hmm.
Where we stayed, there was a piano that was there, and I used to like, I was a little trouble child, and I started getting in trouble and stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
literally, I don't know how. I always say it was God. One day I just started like, I started piano. I was like, and I would always just go sit there. Didn't know what I was doing, and literally just
Wow.
like touch it, just
Just
not
tapping.
playing nothing. Literally like just tapping it, like, okay, whatever. This is just my
Okay.
way. Instead of going to do that, I'm gonna do this. This is a better way to relieve whatever feelings I have right now. And then
Right.
one day, the very first song I learned how to play, I was sitting there and I was just scrolling, watching YouTube and stuff, and I came
Mm-hmm.
across Donnie McClurkin's "We Fall Down, But We Get Up," and I was listening.
Wow.
I literally sat there and I didn't play the whole song. I just learned note for note. Dun, 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 dun. That was the first thing I literally ever learned how to play, and you couldn't tell
Wow.
me nothing. I was telling my mom, everybody, like, I know how to play piano. This is cool. Anyways, side
That's
note. Fast forward.
crazy.
I in sports, high school, I actually like kept practicing, got good, moved back home, was back with family. Started like I said, back home, the guy gave me a first chance. I would always go, those late night rehearsals. It's school night, it's 12:30 at night. I'm sitting in
Right.
the rehearsal up there looking at everybody because music for some reason just caught my attention. Like that was my escape
Wow.
rope for everything else I had going on. It's 12:30, mom calling me, "You got school, where you at?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm at church," like thinking that's an
That church.
excuse, enjoying it. So I just kept practicing, started getting good. They started letting me play, and that's actually how it all started. So the guy who actually, like I
Wow.
said, called me for Far East, one of my big homies, he was still home during that time, and then he moved
Mm-hmm.
out to LA. So we always, stayed connected. And he gave me that call, and once I did that, that's when I started like traveling and stuff, and that's when I realized, oh, like to this podcast, there's levels to this. Like I'm just thinking
Right.
I'm just going to just play like I normally do. Like of course I gotta play, but I'm just thinking, oh, I'm gonna go play whatever I hear, whatever I want. Started
Right.
getting rehearsals. Boom. Oh, it's levels to this. So the
Wow. That's
first
crazy.
tour that we did, when they called me, we went to Europe for like, I think we were in Asia for like a month. We did like Japan, all those places, and it was us, crazy random lineup. It was us, and we were opening up for Neo. And during that
Wow.
time, that's when D Cobbs was doing the Neo joint. So it was
Right.
him,
Uh-huh.
Monty Newell, Lil
Wow.
Jon, everybody. And when I saw that show, I was like,
That's
what
it.
am I doing? Like, and then I realized, because once I started getting involved, like you said, that's when YouTube started taking off. So that's when
Yep.
Cobbs, Darion, Turtle, all of them, they was doing all them covers and
They don't.
arrangements to everything and all that. And I used to have, how we always do, I used to have all of those joints saved on my laptop
Yes.
desktop, like, to
We was
watch.
ripping them. We was
When I
ripping them.
saw
We was ripping them
Cobbs,
off.
when I saw Cobbs, I was like, that's Derek Cobbs. Like, I'm straight up. I still tell him to this day because that's like my brother, fanboy. I was like, oh my God. After the first show, I went back
Yep.
to the dressing room like, hey, is Derek Cobbs in here? I need to speak to him. Like, no. So I tell him I'm giving his flowers publicly. He was like probably my biggest influence before and still to this day after like meeting him. Like,
Wow.
if y'all don't know, Derek Cobbs, that's who
I'm
you
gonna
need
get
to get
him,
on here. That's
bro.
who you need to get on
I
here.
gotta get him on here, bro,
Still to this
because
day, one of the greatest.
the greatest.
I'm telling you, man.
He's a hidden figure. People don't even know
I'm telling you.
who this man really is.
I'm telling you. And everything,
I'm
y'all don't know it, but everything y'all hearing when y'all go to all these shows, all these award shows, all these
D Cobbs.
everything, y'all hearing D Cobbs, trust me.
Y'all hearing D Cobbs. Y'all either hearing D Cobbs, you hearing D Cobb impersonators, children,
I'm telling you.
nephews. You hearing it all, bro. And it's crazy because I found out on a few. What's funny is when I met you, I was like, I know who you are. I know who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've done that with so many people because of YouTube. YouTube is such an amazing invention. Oh my
Right.
gosh. I could watch YouTube more than I watch regular TV because
Listen.
it was incredible. And some of your funniest moments are on YouTube. If y'all go look this man up. Pastors, you better know what key you in, because this man will tell you.
Oh man.
You lucky I don't have that clip. I would so put that clip up on here, but
Right
I'm not
now.
gonna do it.
And
I'm
people
not
don't
gonna
even
do
know the backstory to that. That's why it's like still to this day, every time that time comes around, I just have to turn off all my notifications because it's either the same people or people who just seeing and sharing, and I'm just getting notifications.
Bro, tell us the backstory. Finally, I want to hear the backstory.
So we were in Charlotte, North Carolina. It was the Kojic AIM convention.
Right.
And you know how AIM is. It's in the big rooms, thousands of people. They got all the big screens everywhere. So it's the beginning of service before praise and worship. The pastor guy who was up there, he was literally supposed to be up to do a prayer. Now, as you can tell in the video, the little minute clip that it is, he's up there like he's the preacher, hooping and going in. It's just supposed to be
shine on.
Prayer. So before the video even starts, like, it's basically people still say that every time they see me, go to the one and hold it. So before Elijah, who recorded the video, even was recording it, he was already up there. Like, he kept coming to the organ in front of me and was like slapping the organ, and he was like, y'all follow me, pay attention. So we're like, what are you talking about? Like, and we looking, and he kept looking up on the screens, pointing at himself, like saying to the people, we're like, bro. And it was before the video, he had already been up there at least 20 minutes. Now, mind you, back to this is the opening prayer. So he's in front of the organ, flapping it like, come on now, y'all not listening, follow me. So we're sitting there like, what? So then he keeps saying, before the video, he said it about 10 times. Go to the one and hold it. And you can see in the video, we're holding like we're on the one. And then while he's doing it, he keep going like this. So we're like, all right, let's follow him. Dun, 3, 4, dun, dun. And he keeps saying it. So everybody else just stops playing. CJ stops, Devon stops. Everybody's just like, I don't know what you want us to do. So I said, okay, you want us to go to the one and hold it? I gave him 2 dry octaves, turned the Leslie switch off, and I sat there. And the video don't even do it no justice because the video was about 30 minutes. I probably held it for at least a minute and a half. I literally sat there and I just gave him 2 dry octaves of one. And once he realized that prayer ended so fast. Now, mind you, in the moment, none of that was supposed to be like, hey, record this. I didn't know anybody was recording.
Right.
It was literally all like, that was real frustration. Elijah happened to record it and posted it. I think it's got like close to almost 1 million views now. So still today, people sharing, and every time I see people like, oh, that's the guy, go to the one and hold it. I'm like,
bro. The frustration, absolute frustration
for a lot of us, though.
Bro, you did what a lot of us wish we could do. Some drummers will take their cymbals off and walk away. Right. You got some people who will literally just start wrapping up I think I seen it was young CJ or somebody like that. Somebody grabbed their ears and just start wrapping
They
them
just
up.
started
Bro, like literally
yeah.
it's crazy. But
Mhm.
we all are grateful for how church has grown us. It's given us understanding of patience. It's also given us understanding of people agendas and how much our time is worth everything that we ask for.
Yeah.
Because um I ain't gonna lie, when it comes to church, like I'll be looking at them, not my church in general, but just churches in general. I'll be like, yo, please understand, yes, this gift was probably created in this atmosphere, but
Hmm.
if you know that I do this for a living, why do you literally try to strip me of everything to die here? Like
Yep.
it's crazy. And then y'all got the audacity to be mad at the
Right.
world providing for me because y'all literally look at it's almost like entitlement.
Exactly.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Whole
We're not
nother
even gonna do
conversation.
that. but God is good nonetheless. But I will ask you this question then. In your journey, what do you feel like has sustained you as long as you've been in music? Like what have you used to sustain you in this? Like what was that vital kind of like sustaining piece for you?
um, I don't know if this is the correct way to answer it, but I'm gonna
Whatever.
say I think it's my
Yes.
passion for it because, like you said, we have those draining situations where it's like, why am I doing this? Why am I still, continuing to put up with this, continuing to do this?
Right.
But on the flip side, we do also have those situations where it's like, I'm ready. What you need, you taking care of it. So I think that's
Absolutely.
why I say it's my passion because when we get to those low moments and when we get to those situations where it's like that, honestly, because we're in control of what we do, we can say, I'm done. Like I don't want to do this, which I won't say I haven't ever done, but
Right.
because of my passion for it and my heart for it, I think that's what keeps me going with it as long as it has.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes.
I feel like it's almost like it's to some people it may look like a sport because everybody can't do it.
Right.
And it takes so much practice to really get into it. But yeah, man. I mean, I've even had times where I was just like, man, and sometimes it's not even music in totality. It's
Right.
sometimes just people. It's just treating us not just like just normal worker ants or anything like that. Like, yo, like I've been preaching this recently to get people to understand, like, just because your name is on the marquee doesn't mean that I work for you. I had to change my verbiage years ago to I don't work for anybody. I work for myself, but I work
Exactly.
with people in order to get them to where they're going. Why?
Exactly.
Because if you're calling me to do a job, it's because you can't do it yourself.
Exactly.
So that within itself lets you know that I'm not a musician, but I'm an artist musician. I
Hmm.
what I do, I'm an artist at it. And more than likely I'm better than you. I might be better than you at what I do than what you do. I'm just still here assisting you. No
Exactly.
pun intended. But I ain't gonna lie, there's a few out there where if we had to literally go neck for neck in regards to where we are, levels to this, where we are in our gifting compared to where they are based upon the premature and immature way of how people are able to get in the industry today, they can't. I don't care. I'm gonna say it, they can't fuck with us, and I will literally tell a lot of people that myself, like, yo, like, because we're around so many different great artists, and we actually connect with a lot of artists who don't get the opportunity and be like, yo, if you had the opportunity, none of these people will exist. But
Exactly.
the standard is so low. It's so low for the actual talent, and it's so much higher for the trolling and for the whatever makes people gravitate to it in regards to financial gain for the industry, which is trash. But I guess I would say with that, like, if what do you feel like is something in the industry that's not being recognized or not getting enough attention that may be harming harming the industry? in some way, shape, or form? Like, if that, I don't know if that question makes sense, but I do feel like we all, as musicians and those who work alongside these quote unquote artists, there's
Mm-hmm.
certain things that we kind of look at and just be like, yo, like this is completely missing from this. And if it weren't missing, when we work with developed artists, we notice that it's there. It's available. It's just not put into play. What would you say that is for you?
I guess I don't. It's like it is and it isn't, because I don't want to say there isn't talent, but I think talent is lost. I don't know if that
Mm.
makes sense, because
It's a
because
that's a deep statement. That's what it is.
yeah, like, and I won't go as far as to say that nobody has talent, but I
Hmm.
think the talent level is lost, if that makes sense. Like you said, we work with those who we know, like, oh, if you had the opportunities that this person had, this artist had,
Hmm.
like you said, they'd be out of here. But it, as sucky as it is, some artists, some entertainers or whatever, just have are afforded those opportunities, whether it be financially, relationship wise, easier than others. But
Right.
I think compared to when we look back to now, like, the talent level has, I don't, that's what I mean when I say lost. I don't want to say gone down, because we know that it's still out there,
It
but
is. We see it.
but it's lost because it's not consistent, or it's not a quote unquote standard anymore, if that makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense. I mean that when you say that, it makes me think about the fact that how Jasmine Sullivan literally just got her flowers within the last year or so. But the same flowers she getting now, she should have got when she first started, because Jasmine Sullivan didn't do nothing but lose weight. She been killing since she came in the game. She didn't change nothing
Listen,
but
I'm
her
trying to tell you,
weight.
I'm
And
telling
we
you,
almost thought we lost her for a minute because we
yep,
really did.
I'm
You know what
telling
I'm
you.
saying? Like, because if Jasmine would have, to me, if Jasmine would have gotten her flowers then, I feel like the bar would be higher. We wouldn't have so many people in here who are, I feel like a lot of people don't have to compete with her because she's so out of range,
Mm-hmm.
but the majority of what exists, they do they're neck and neck with.
Mm.
So what they do is they end up turning her into a unicorn and just being like she's in a different lane all by herself,
Facts, facts.
right? And that's the sucky part, is they'll end up making somebody almost, they'll give somebody their own lane versus just being like, you know what, we gonna make everybody have to get on this train. Like, nah. Because
Facts.
it's not to even say like, I love LMA. She's amazing. But if you really wanted to say her and Jasmine are in the same lane, if you wanted to say Janae is in the same lane,
Mm.
but you won't have a conversation. If you had a conversation about the three of them, you would literally divide R&B up and say, oh, this is R&B soul. This is R&B experimental. This is contemporary R&B. Like,
Right,
nah, it's all R&B.
right, exactly.
Just to try to say it, and it's like, I don't even know why I'm on Jasmine Sullivan, but it just blows my mind because it's like lions, tigers, and bears is just
Listen,
as critical
she
as
had
the
everybody singing it. Those female songs, and I know I was. I don't care. I'm gonna speak up for the men. I was trying to mimic everything she doing. Between
right,
that and I'm in love. I was trying to sing everything she's doing. Mind blown. Like,
that
how is
part,
she doing this?
that part, bro.
And
And
still
so,
doing it.
and still do, because when you look at the quality was there from not just the singing but the arranging and
Yep,
how the music was created. Like, can't nobody just go and play lions, tigers, and bears.
exactly.
It will be kitty cats, dogs, and and ants. What they playing? I'm sorry, but it'll be that for
Exactly.
real.
Exactly.
But moving on, man, to get more understanding of you, like, if there was one thing you could change about your journey, or one thing you can go back and kind of like fix in your journey, is there anything that you would change at all? Because some people feel like everything was the way it was supposed to be. I mean, I feel like it is. But there's certain things if we could kind of like just be like, I would have did that differently.
I'm gonna tell you what it is for me. Man, it don't got nothing to do with playing. It don't got nothing to do with none of that. But it's a part of what we do. It
Uh-huh.
would be my business.
Woo!
Listen,
Come on. Let's
I
get into it.
I had to learn very early. Like I said, so
Yeah.
started between the first, I'll probably say the first 4 or 5 years or so. Like I said, I did all the, and now mind you, I was 19 when I started. So between the Far East stuff and then I did the Rocky joint.
Mm-hmm.
I was 19, between 19, 22, 23, making so much money. Didn't really have that much bills. I was still, before I moved to Charlotte, I was still home, but I
Right.
didn't like have that much bill stuff because I was always gone. So I just had the simple stuff, making so much money, but I never paid attention to the taxes and all of that stuff.
Roll it out. Roll it out.
I came
Roll
home
it
from
out.
court one day, had a letter from the IRS. You have 30 days to pay us about 40K. I
Come on, bro. Somebody gonna learn from this.
listen, I'm trying to tell you. That's, to me, that's one of the most important things. If I ever do like I mean, I do clinics and stuff I've done, but that was in the past. If I ever got like seriously like how you doing now, I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna start a podcast like you, and it's gonna be the business side of music. Like
The
that's always
business side.
the one main thing when people come to me for advice and ask me questions before I even get into the music of things. Like sincerely from the bottom of my heart, that's the first thing I speak on is the business
Absolutely.
side of it.
Absolutely.
Because that's that to me, that's the main area where we I guess I'll say fail.
We fail. We fail.
We
Yes, it's the
fail
biggest
and
piece.
don't acknowledge. Like we a lot of times, I can speak for myself. I won't say everybody, but a lot of young cats too. From the conversations that I have, is
Mm-hmm.
we're so eager to get up into the let's play, let's
Let's
do the work, let's do
tour.
the
Yep. Let's be
yeah,
everywhere.
all of
Yep.
that. We don't think about the most
The business.
important part, the business part of it.
Bro, I'm glad you said that. And
I'm telling
we gonna rest in that. Let me tell you why. Because like you said, when it comes to mentoring for me and talking to people, I let people know, like, everybody ain't your friend. You have to differentiate friends and acquaintances,
you.
and watch people. You know what I'm saying? You gotta watch people. My grandma always tell me, um, little man, she, because I'm always belittle her. Um, she tell me to watch people. She tell me to sit on my coat and never let anybody give me a drink that I didn't watch them pour.
Hmm.
But that can be expelled in so many ways. You know what I'm
Listen.
saying?
Hmm.
It's so many different terminologies of that. But the business, bro. I remember my dad has always been on my line. I think he heard LL Cool J do an interview about how his dad told him that, in regards to music business, 10% of it is what you do in regards to performance and interaction with people in general, but the other 90% is music business. If you
Hmm.
don't handle business right, you be looking crazy. For real, for real. Like, them taxes, first of all, the IRS don't care what color you are, where you live, because they'll find you, and they gonna want their coins, and they gonna get their coins. And it sucks that a lot of young guys, they see the glitz and the glamour. And I don't even mean the glitz and the glamour of what we're playing. You see a lot of cats out here shopping, wearing this, that, and the third. And all respectively, if you earned it and you got the money to get it, for sure do it. But one thing that I learned a long time ago is don't try to keep up with the people that you're with. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Keep up with what allows you to still live and exist in your world. Cause I remember the first tour I went on, bro. The artist, man, every time he went to the mall, he was dropping money. So I'm trying to keep up with him. I'm buying this, that, and the third, man. It wasn't until I got back from
Influence, because we
tour.
directly connected to it and we around it 24/7. It's that influence. I'm telling you,
It's
bro.
that influence, bro. Do not try to keep up where you can't carry out. Let me tell you. Because when you get back and that rent is due and you look in your bank account try to figure out where all your money went, bro, let me tell you, I got a rude awakening. I got a rude awakening in that. I got a rude awakening in understanding that you, if you don't have somebody that you can speak to about your taxes, you keep an eye on your own accounting. If you're not going to be good enough to get a CPA or something like that, and it don't even got to be the best CPA in the world, but somebody to help you keep your eyes on your coins. I mean, Wesley Snipes was a prime example.
Listen,
Wesley.
I think he's still
Wesley. He's still that boy done lost his head. He bald headed now. But listen, it's IRS don't care who you is. They don't care who you is. I mean, shoot. If I'm not mistaken, they after the president, the old president. They after him. He ain't exempt.
They invaded his house.
We looking for the receipts. But man, business is. I love that you said that because, if you don't handle your business, another thing is, the less of us that don't handle our business is the more that we look like easy targets, and we make it harder for those who do handle business right to come into places and for it to not seem foreign to these managers and tour managers and all and accountants when they're like, well, such and such wasn't like that. Such and such wasn't educated. Such and such didn't know that he needed to take care of this or she needed to take care of this. Like, even for me, I told you yesterday when we met, like, now if somebody got to get me out the house, they got to give a deposit. Why? Because if any of these artists wanted to put on a show at any type of event place, what do they have to do? Put down a deposit. If they were getting married and they wanted a photographer to come and take their pictures, what do they have to do? Put down a deposit. The cake, the food, all that's depositable. Why is my gift any less than that? Why is my time and me saying yes and no, just like those entities saying yes and no to availability, why shouldn't that be paid for up front somehow, some way? You ain't got to pay me all my money, but at least give me something that if you say no and I've said no, I don't sit back and be like, I really want to choke you. Because I ain't gonna lie, we've had a lot of them people where you just like, we've said so many no's to so many people, and then you go look at your schedule. Hey, we look up, yo, so they're not doing the show. And you can't even say to yourself, like, you look stupider having to say, so do we still get paid?
Right, exactly.
What you mean, do you still get paid? Did you get it? Did you do anything like that? And also, the other thing about business is paper trails. I'm big on everything that I do. Thankfully, I learned another lesson that I learned is to build a team so that I can be an artist. I don't have to be my own manager and all that type of stuff, but I can have people manage those things for me, talk to those people and things for me so that I can just do what I'm supposed to do. But it's like that paper trail, bro. Like, you can have somebody give you the world over the phone, but if you don't have nothing to back it up, you can't even go to court with it unless you recorded the conversation. And we know ain't nobody recording conversation. Well, it's people, it's petty women and men recording conversations. You know what I'm saying? If you petty, no matter what sex you are, you probably recording conversation or two.
Right.
If you got an agenda, but paper trails, emails that execute, because emails are actually now the new contracts for us as musicians. If you're just trying to do a poor man's contract, email is everything in that. I'm like, don't. I need that in writing. Even if you do tell me on the phone, immediately after we get off the phone, before I accept, I will accept over email. I no longer accept gigs over the phone. Why? Because As simple as I accept it over the phone, they can text me back and be like, you know what, bro? They just canceled. But I just got off the phone with somebody 30 minutes in between that and said no to more money that I
Exactly.
can't get back.
Mm-hmm.
So I thank you for that one, because not many people, not even, I'm gonna be even more honest about it. It kind of sucks that I didn't hear this from an elder of mine, but I do make sure going into my elderly season as a musician, I preach this out loud to every musician. I don't care about giving away my gems. I don't care about giving away advice and knowledge. The only thing I care about is it being utilized correctly and it being utilized professionally. I don't need nothing back in return for it. But if you just taking my advice and you still doing stupid stuff, I don't know. I'm about to charge you next time. I'm gonna be honest, little bruh, little, you know what I'm saying. But I gratefully appreciate you bringing that up, bro, because the reason why we have most of the battles that we have as artists, musicians today is because there's so many with bad business. Business is second. The playing and the opportunity and the relationship and the kissing ass is everything first. We want, you know, niggas want to be friends and stuff out here before you can get your money up. Then you wondering why you getting paid this, and by the time you open up your mouth and say, well, this is what I feel like I should be getting paid, they be looking at you like, but you was cool with this for so long. What changed? They don't like change. So you got to go in there right from the beginning,
Exactly.
or we'll pull up at you. We'll pull up on you if we need to. And that's one thing I love about my brother. I will pull up with my brother, and he knows that. He knows that.
We will.
We'll pull up because it's serious. We don't want to have to NWA nobody, but
I'm telling you.
time is money, because you take time away from your family.
Mm-hmm.
I take time away from my family. And that's the other thing in understanding. Your business is not based upon you alone. It's what you're walking away from. It's what you're taking time away from in order to help somebody else's journey
Right.
along the way. So your business is not necessarily delegated off of what you can do and what you bring, but what you're walking away from in order
Mm-hmm.
to make somebody else's life experience elevate to where it needs to be. So that's the word preached on music business. And I can't, matter of fact, we're gonna figure out a panel somehow, some way, and let these young guys really in depthly understand our stories. And also being, I'm not, and other thing I appreciate about you and myself and others, it seems like, we're not scared to say where we messed up, but we
Oh.
fixed it.
Mm-hmm.
You got a
Definitely.
lot of older guys. I don't feel like really speak about that because their business is so good. But it's like each one teach one.
That's very true.
That way we can all win together. We ain't gotta continue to be like, this person getting paid that, but that ain't none of my business. Oh,
Right.
I mean, like, is that your bro? I
Right.
can see if it's a person you don't really rock with, that's fine. But even if it's a person that you don't rock with, if they ask the questions, why not give them the answer?
Exactly.
At least they ask. Why? Because your bro ain't the one that's gonna ask.
Exactly.
It really be the bros that be the idiots. I love y'all bros, but some of y'all out here be making us look bad. I say that with love. And I need y'all to understand that you can and need to do better. We all
Mm-hmm.
do. As together, like, I always think about sometimes, even though this is weird, I think about when Kyrie was talking about the NBA and how he was about the vaccinations and all that type of stuff, right? If the NBA had, if his bros took a united front and walked away from the NBA and started their own league with the money that they have, all of the cable companies will go with them.
Literally.
All of the money that the NBA has right now would be in a whole nother league. Why? Because what is the industry mostly made out of right now? Musicians.
It's facts.
What is the NBA made out of most right now? Minorities. We're the magic. We are
That's
the magic. If we stepped away, if the singers who aren't producers had no producers, which are musicians, the whole music industry would crumble.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like that to me is crazy, but you have those who don't want to share the information, and you have those who don't ask for the information. And that's what Levels to This podcast was created to do, was ask those questions that people are scared to ask.
Right.
But moving on from that, getting back to these questions I have for you, man. Have you ever I won't even ask you that question. I'm gonna ask you this: how important do you feel like relationships are in this industry?
I think I kind of touched on this earlier. To me, one of the most important, and I won't even say in this industry, I think that's in life in general.
Yes,
But
correct.
speaking on the industry, I think it's for me personally, for my level of contribution and just what I recommend to everybody else is probably the most important. Of course, I always tell people your talent is always going to speak for itself. Like,
Right.
but I think it's those relationships that sometimes get you in those rooms. But those
Yep.
relationships and calls come from knowing the level of your talent. But like I said, for me personally, any artist I've ever worked with, anything, whether it be live music, production, whatever it is, I've never had to audition for anything. Like, I've never done an audition. It's always been that relationship, whether it be by word of mouth, direct call, whatever it is, it's those relationships that matter.
Man, Justin Deas. It what's funny is, yes, you don't need no audition. All it is hoping that it's what it is it's hoping to get you before accepted something else. That's what it is. It really is. Like, man, that's that, because I remember before, like, that was always my hesitation with you until I finally was like, let me just call him, forget it. But I was just like, I know he's busy, you know what I'm saying? And that's another thing that sucks. And I want to preach this out loud again. Don't assume we're busy. You know what I'm saying? Don't assume that you can't afford us. You got to ask the questions, because depending on the relationship, I'm a humble dude. I know I can see growth in something very small, and know that if I cut this discount here, how much I'll grow in this space, and also enjoy this music. Because like you said earlier, about, wanting to fall back from touring and all that type of stuff, I'm the same way. I'm actually in a place right now in my life where it's like, I really only desire to play gigs where I enjoy the team and I enjoy the music, because our brains are like libraries, and it has so much music in it, and it's hard to keep adding music to that library and not be honest and say that the music that we have there is going to start catching dust and all that type of stuff. And it's the reason why I started to say no to certain things, because no, I don't want to learn no momentary music from some artists. No disrespect, but I've been in the industry a little bit long. I'm gonna say a little bit long, because over a decade is still a year in industry years.
Right.
Especially with COVID. But like, we've done it. We've done playing for people. We did First Fridays. There was plenty of people that we played with, and thank God we had to play covers and not.
Right.
And thank you, Kelvin, for not making us play originals, because if we had to learn original work and people want to be all complex and experimental, and you like, why does it sound like this? Why? Even in gospel music, you just be like, why is that there? Why is that there?
Yeah.
Why is that there? And I appreciate First Fridays, because First Fridays was like, in order to get on, we may do an original, but don't give us no original that we gonna have to, that we can't wrap around something that we've already done before. Not because we lazy, because it's just like, y'all want us to learn on this original music, and then we never hear it. But when we rehearsed it with you, and then now you done changed your hair, you emu, you're doing rock music, all that music is gone. We can't. And now, but it's in my library and I can't get it out, Lord.
Right.
So, no offense to people, just understand when I say no, I'm saying no respectively. It's not because I think I'm better than anything, but we've paid our dues, and that's a big thing. Like, paying your dues. Young guys, pay your dues. Understand that paying dues is never going anywhere. It doesn't mean that you have to be disrespected, taken advantage of. It doesn't mean that you have to just take the little things. But what you have to do is hold a certain level of integrity and understand that not only did we pay dues for ourselves, we paid dues for you too. The reason why you were able to walk through certain doors and I was able to walk through certain doors is because certain people went through them before us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like the D Cobbs,
Right.
the Bryces. You know what I'm saying? The Benny Rogers and the Mannies and the Aaron Spears and all of those cats, the Nelsons. Like they walked through certain doors and they had to learn certain lessons, and we've learned them a little bit faster. And I even feel like the next generation will learn them faster because we're not willing to hold as much information back. And I want to see these young guys shine.
Mm-hmm.
But I will call Justin Deas on keys first, just to see if he's available. But I guess another question for you is, what would you say to someone who's trying to get on the level in which you're on? Like, what are some key points that you would give to somebody for them trying to gain access to where you are today?
One would be consistency, meaning a level / standard that you come in with, that you give, keep it consistent. I've seen situations, been in situations where somebody, you get a new gig or a call or whatever, and you come in, like, okay, you obviously got the call for a reason, you give it, but if it continues, some people get too comfortable and don't continue to give the same effort / input as expected.
Yep.
So I always say consistency, because I'm gonna be the one to say it. For everything that you do, there's always somebody better to do it.
Woo! Say it one more time. Say it one more time.
As good as whatever you do, there's always somebody that's better that can do it.
There it is. Bingo.
That's not to downplay anything. Not myself. I'm confident. We're all confident in what we're capable of, what we can do,
Absolutely.
what we know. But I know that there are plenty of people out there that if we were to stand next to each other, it's going to be somebody else. Oh, somebody else. And
Absolutely.
That's not downplaying or taking away from our gift or what we're capable of, because we can obviously get it done. But just know there's always somebody else. So I would say consistency. And a main thing I would say would also be, how would I put it? I'll say honor, if that makes sense.
That makes a lot. You deep, Doc. Pause.
Yeah. I would say honor, like, be a man of your word.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I need to explain it anymore after that. That's
you.
A lot of men fail at that.
In many natures, for sure. No, bro. You hit the nail on the head, man. Consistency and honoring one another, but consistency within itself is work ethic. It's it's understanding that if you're early, you're on time. If you're on time, you're late. If your call time is 9 o'clock, you need to be there between 8 o'clock and 8:30, just so that you can find out, you can know what the parking situation is. You can know what the distance of getting in and doing certain things. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I'm very clear as a leader. I let people know this is the time you should show up. This is the downbeat. Let me give you the definition of downbeat. Downbeat means where sound is being made and work really starts. You know what I'm saying? Like, if we were working at McDonald's, you can't pull up and your shift start at 8 o'clock. You can't pull up at 8 o'clock. They expecting you to pull up at 7:55, 7:50. So what
Mm-hmm.
makes this any different? But what sucks is a lot of us get, we get lackadaisical.
Mm-hmm.
Also, another thing is, don't let what an artist does get you to thinking that you can do the same thing. Not saying that, yeah, if an artist is always late, you know what I'm saying, you keep rushing out the house. No, you talk to somebody, but you also get people to understand that time is money. So if I'm getting
Mm-hmm.
here early, my price may go up the longer that I gotta wait.
Right.
Or what you do is, if they want to stay later, you put the price on the end of it.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, if y'all want me to stay an hour later, y'all gonna have to add a little bit more money. Why? Because I was here on time, early,
Exactly. Exactly.
and I did my job. Y'all was late, and I didn't call this rehearsal. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
call this show or this event. I was here to assist what y'all doing. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
man, bro, like, and just honoring the jobs. Why? Because yes, anybody else could do this.
Yep.
And what sucks, the horrible truth is somebody may come and do it for cheaper.
Yep.
So if you get in a call, if you honor it yourself first, they won't have to dishonor you getting somebody else for cheaper or getting somebody else in general.
Exactly.
Undeniability. Because that's the reason why you get the first call. Any of us get the first call is because you've done something undeniably amazing in whoever's calling you's eyes, where they're like, when they get it, when they hear, oh, I need a keyboard player, I gotta call Justin. Why? Because Justin's on time. He asks all the right questions before he gets to rehearsal, so that when he gets there, he knows what's going on. If he got to bring his gear, he'll bring his board. But he gonna ask, "Do I need a board?" If I don't need a board, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
But in this game, it's big on how you start, how you come in, and you ain't
Mm-hmm.
got to come in. You ain't got to come. The other thing is, to my brothers and sisters, you don't have to come in thirsty and desperate. If you got the call, you don't have to be thirsty or desperate.
Mm-hmm.
Please understand, somebody else got that call too. It doesn't mean that they were any better than you or any worse than you, but they probably didn't say yes as fast as you. It doesn't mean you're still desperate. It just meant that your yes came a little faster. That's it.
Right.
And in like I was talking to Carrie Marshall last, and just understanding that yes, that we do give people should come with honor, and it
Yep.
should come with consistency.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? All those things should dwell within that yes.
Mm-hmm.
And just really honoring yourself,
Right.
because please also understand, the reason why I call Justin is not because of just Justin's playing, because Justin's name is good. Your name is everything in this industry.
Definitely.
I mean, our name is everything in the world, but especially in this industry,
Mm-hmm.
bro, you already know. We know some cats that can play people up under the ground, but
They can
I mean,
outdo everything we do, but you hear the name and
bro,
you're like, do I want to deal with that?
bro, because I even say, from moving here in 2011, bro, I moved here in 2010, but my career started in 2011. Before that, I was able to go to all the LA sheds. I was able to see all the drummers and all that type of stuff, and developed a lot of relationships with these guys. But it's crazy and baffling to me that a lot of these guys aren't where I would have thought they would be.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't even tell you why. It is what it is. But your name is everything. And you have to understand, like, first impressions in this industry are very important. Even the way that you come in rehearsal. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Like, yeah, you might like to drink, but I wouldn't go to rehearsal drunk.
Right.
Wait till they turn up in rehearsal. And even then, I would not advise you to do that, because
Exactly.
it's still your name. Because if the wrong person walks in that room and sees you and everybody else acquainted with it, depending on where you sit on the priority board, the smorgasbord of that situation, you still may look the worse.
Yep.
So you have to be very careful. But man, you unlocked a lot of conversations, bro, and I greatly appreciate it, because this is what levels to this is. It's not just necessarily explaining the level we're on, but just the space and where we think,
Right.
and the development of what we went through to try to understand where we are today and why we are where we are. And I say all that to say, bro, thank you for answering my calls.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for texting me back. Thank you for showing up for my church during COVID. I mean, literally, if y'all you play at my church some way somehow every Sunday. Why? Because the countdown of the church is you playing, us playing a song from streaming. So you literally, I probably owe you some back pay for that.
All
But
good. All good.
I mean, the other thing that I mentioned in regards to you being a unicorn is, and I was talking to Paul Cornish about this, but you, everywhere that you go and everywhere that you play, man, like you don't play just because it's a job or it's a gig. You play for yourself first. You play to enjoy what you create first. Even when we're dealing with people that don't know what they're doing, don't know how to explain what they're saying, I love playing with you because you always, when you're around good people like you, it doesn't allow you to slump. It doesn't allow you to get too lax. It doesn't allow you to get off course. It's like, you know what, if I can look over at Justin and he's still in the moment, let me stay in the moment. And that's the other thing, man. Like, you have a amazing heart. Your playing skills are through the roof. Like, I can't wait to see what God does with you. And I know I say this all the time, bro, but I'm so thankful that God allowed us to cross paths, man. Like, you can't get rid of me.
Same, bro. It's the thing we talk about all the time. This is not just for the podcast, y'all. We say this to each other personally all the time. I promise.
All the time. Like, you got to, because we're living in a day and age, man, where we're losing not just people, you know, family and friends. We losing musicians. We losing people. We losing rappers, whether it be to COVID or whether it just be to life and death itself. It's crazy. So I love you, man. And thank you for doing this today. From all the technical difficulties, you didn't stop. Because I was like, he ain't gonna do it.
No, it's all good. Thank you, bro. Honestly, I'm telling you too. Thank you.
Indeed, man. Well, this is Levels to This podcast. We had the special guesting of Justin Deas. You can catch him on tour with Charlie Puth. And when I tell you, it's an amazing show, amazing musicality, and you gonna enjoy the show. So definitely check this man out. Follow him on Instagram. I want to say follow him on Facebook, but he be really giving it out. If you follow him on Facebook, you know what I'm saying. Justin is another Justin on Facebook, but Facebook is really where we can be really us. You know what I'm saying? Because the stuff that you be saying on Facebook is stuff that everybody wish they could say. And and another thing, I appreciate you for saying the real stuff.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate you that, because you got so many people scared of being honest. You got a lot of guys who will stand in your face and talk shit behind your back. And you know the shit that they talk. But I appreciate you standing on your stuff. And being just an amazing brother, man. And I love you, dog.
Love you, bro. Appreciate you, man.
This is Levels to This podcast, season 1, episode 5, and we will check y'all back. If nobody told you they loved you today, just know that I love you. I appreciate you being here, and we'll check you later. Peace out.
Peace out.